this thing even on? Oh shit, it is. Yo, you know what it is. I'm in this journal. I'm working on my visualization exercise. I got some music playing in the background. Vibe with me. Just feel the beat. Music heads know what this is too. Peace, 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 and welcome to Eric Talks. My name is Eric. This is my channel. It's my channel, so I'll talk about whatever I like, and you'll watch, and maybe once you become a subscriber, I'll talk about something you like. So, what do I feel like talking about today? I feel like talking about habits. We all have them, good and bad. Some may discuss others. Some could give a doctor just cause to diagnose us with OCD, and some cost us a lot of money. Either way, we all have habits because we are just that, creatures of habit. And yes, we are creatures. Some of you may be creepy creatures, but we are all animals. We're very sophisticated and good looking animals, but let's never forget these bodies are made of flesh and blood. In particular, our brains are incredibly complex, evolved machines. Our brains govern basic processes such as breathing and food intake, and also enable us to appreciate the finer points of the second track of the Stillmatic album, Ether. In this talk, I'll give you the gist on what habits are and 7 ways to develop habits. I think the best place to start in this talk is defining what habits are. So, what is a habit? By definition, a habit is a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Let me say that again. A habit is a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that's hard to give up. Habits make the man, Aristotle said. We are what we repeatedly do. If you want to be productive, you need the habit of planning. If you want to be physically fit, you need the habit of exercise. When you take a look at your habits in your life, what do they say about you? People's habits tell a lot about them. Not just their good and bad habits, but also such habits as what they pay attention to, what they care about, and how they decide things. These are mental habits. And according to my research, there are 8 categories of habits. There's mental habits, there's strategy habits, timing habits, relationship habits, ego habits, emotional habits, physical habits, and old habits. So, I'm not going to give you the whole ins and outs and try to explain to you each category of habits. I'm just here to give you the gist on what habits are and give you some momentum to go and do your own research if that's what you choose to do on habits. So if you want to feel less restless and become more productive, it's imperative that you break from your bad habits and develop good ones. When you have to decide every single day whether you're going to go to the gym, plan out your day, or read a good book, when you leave those choices up to the day's circumstances and your current mood, you're usually going to end up making the decision based upon your current situation. So it's psychologically taxing to make the same decision over and over and over every day. And the more you fail to live up to your goals and break that contract that you made with yourself, the less confident you become and the less success you have with the next endeavor that you decide to adopt. So as you begin to see yourself as a failure, it becomes a terrible self-fulfilling prophecy. Those who feel like life is hard often have failed to form good habits. Every day is a struggle between what they want to do and what they end up doing instead. They could never find that groove where the habits that they make or could make them stronger and healthier, they can never get around to doing it. But once you develop those things, they almost become automatic, giving you a feeling of like a central satisfaction of life that makes you understand that there's some type of pattern in the continual progress of completing and sticking to habits. So if you're not happy with where you're at with your habits, I'll provide you with a few timeless tips that many of the greats now and before us have employed to become the person that they wish to be. So how to develop a habit 101. What I'm looking for, I'm trying to find my eraser. Habits 101. Get my notes for yours. So, number one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Many people I know never change because they always try to improve everything about themselves at that same damn time. I do it too. You start feeling unhappy about your life and you make a list of all the things you want to change about yourself, believing that starting the next day you're gonna totally transform yourself. It doesn't work that way. It makes you feel really pumped to have a plan and want to change, but changing one habit is already hard enough. Changing 5 at the same time is damn near impossible. You're juggling a bunch of balls and eventually you get tired and they fall to the floor and there you are back at square one. Think about this. There's something called a snowball debt plan. The plan recommends paying off your smallest debt first. The idea behind the plan is twofold. That one, once the first debt is paid, you can take that money that you were paying and start paying it toward the second debt. Number two, that satisfaction you get from knocking out that first little debt will keep you motivated to wipe out the rest. Cultivating new habits work in the same way. Start with the habit that will be easiest to gain. The habit that's easiest to gain, knock that one out the way. The confidence you garner from mastering it will carry over to the next hardest habit. Your confidence will keep the snowballing effect, keep helping you reach the next habit and the next habit. And finally, you build up enough mojo to attain that. It can be hard to place something you really need to tackle on the back burner, but you have to realize that doing so is the only way to endure that what you're trying to be successful at. So be patient, young Padawan. Number 2, launch your habit. Launch your habit with a strong initiative. Be ready, willing to go. just like a rocket needs a huge boost of energy to escape the Earth's gravitational pull, we need to exert the same type of energy in the beginning to break or create a new habit. When developing a new habit or breaking an old one, we need to do something that shakes up our current mentality and makes us receptive to the change. So go full tilt in the beginning. Kiss your soul-sucking friends goodbye, pack up the car, move, sign a year contract at the gym, throw away all your cigarettes in the house, whatever. Whatever you choose to do, make a big deal out of it. Make a huge deal out of it. So take a picture of it, post it, something. Number 3, 60-day goal. Make a 60-day goal. That 21-day shit, that theory was created by a plastic surgeon turned self-proclaimed psychologist who wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. And that book came out in the 1960s. It was pretty much the 1960s version of The Secret. And there's no scientific evidence to back that claim. In fact, a recent study done by actual scientists suggests that it takes onwards an average of about 66 days to form a new habit. The number of days depends on the type of habit you're trying to form. So easy things like drinking a glass of water in the morning took less time compared to harder things like going to the gym every day. So give yourself 60 days to form a new habit. 2 months is a long time to stick with something, but if you have already set out to create a new habit, then you're up for the challenge. Number 4, don't break the chain. Don't break the chain. Once you resolve to form a habit or to break a habit, it's imperative that you don't make any exceptions for yourself. We don't want to be like drunken Rip Van Winkle who excuses himself every fresh dereliction by saying, it won't count this time. You might rationalize your slip to yourself and others, but deep down, a record is etched in your brain sending a message to your spirit that you don't really have what it takes to stick to your own principles. Over time, these failures dull your motivation and sap your confidence. Don't do it to yourself. Skipping one day makes it easier to skip the next, and we soon find ourselves back where we started and frustrated with ourselves. Every single day counts, and any excuse will fracture our integrity. So when you do this, you're ultimately putting yourself on a path to failure. One way to motivate yourself through excuses is to create a habit chain. As a young comic, Jerry Seinfeld made it a goal to write a new joke every day. To himself, and he got himself into this writing habit. Seinfeld created a simple calendar system that pressured him to write. Seinfeld would hang up a big yearly calendar on his wall. Every day he sat down to write, he would make a big X over that day. After a few days, you'll have a chain, and just keep at it, and that chain will grow longer and longer every day, and you'll like seeing the chain, especially when you got a few weeks under your belt. Your only job is to not break the chain. I've used the system myself a few times, and the chain system works. I can testify to that. There's just something about seeing those X's on your calendar that motivates you to keep going, and you're scared to break it. A few sites that I know of, it's called don'tbreakthechain.com and joesgoals.com. You can check those out. They're great habit tracking, progress tracking websites. I've used them myself. I'm actually going to be using them for my 100-day challenge, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And it's also free. So check those websites out. Number 5, keep yourself accountable. Keep yourself accountable. Even more motivating than a calendar full of X's, an accountability partner. It's easy to fall off the wagon when no one will never know. An accountability partner is someone who can give you that extra boost of motivation. It's someone who will demand honesty from you. And the thought of having to tell your accountability partner about a slip is enough to keep you on track. Accountability partners can take many forms. You can ask a friend or a mentor to check in on you daily or weekly. You can make a pledge to your social media website and provide regular updates on your progress. You can make a bet. You can join a community group that's working on the same habit. It's many things that you can do to give yourself motivation to continue. Number 6, replace a bad habit with a good habit. Replace a bad habit with a good habit. In my experience, it seems that the only way to kill a bad habit is to replace it with a good one. Replace it with a good habit. So, nature hates a vacuum. If you create a hole in your life and don't actively fill it with something good, it's gonna follow the path of least resistance and fill with whatever is most handy. And usually, that's either an old or a bad habit. So your habits, both bad and good, create deep neural pathways in your brain. Think of it like hacking through a forest for the first time. And when you're going through it this first time, it's rough because you're blazing a new trail. And the second time, it gets much easier. And the third time, it gets even easier. And on each successive trip, as you turn the pathway, you're turned it into a well-worn trail. Your brain wants to follow these pre-blazed paths because they're already laid out. This is why habits are so hard to break. You can't just erase the pathways. Instead, you must start hacking a path that runs parallel to and bypasses the old trail. It will be tough going at first, but eventually the bad habit will become the clear go-to path, while the old habit path becomes overgrown with vegetation from being unused. Number 7, and this is my favorite one. Just do it. Like Nike, goddammit. Just do it. It doesn't matter how inspired or how motivated we are. If we don't take advantage of every opportunity to act on these sentiments, our goal of forming a habit will end in failure. The key to success is consistent action. Personally, my biggest challenge is getting stuck in the strong initiative phase. I love ideas in general. I love the idea of wanting to turn over a new leaf. It's easy to get excited about a fresh start and changing your life. Purging the house of junk food, buying a new planner, or self-help books. It's fun. It's when 2 weeks have gone by and each excitement wears off that's when it gets hard. That's when the men are separated from the boys. And that's when the women need to put on their big girl panties. The realization sinks in that forming habits are going to be unglamorous. They might get ugly, and it's going to be hard work every damn day. So it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It becomes a test of endurance. The key is not to give up. You ultimately want to feel in the moment. You want to enjoy the process of your habit. Don't let your brain tell you that your current discomfort will be there indefinitely and it's going to be lasting continuously. That's not the case. That's your ego trying to trick you into not being successful. Excuse me. It eventually you will have carved out the new neural pathways, and things become easier and easier, almost automatic, and you'll see how good it feels to literally get in the groove. So let's quit the navel gazing, roll up our sleeves, and let's get to work on forging new habits, create new neural pathways, and turn ourselves into the persons we want to be. With that said, I'll tell you about my 100-day challenge that I chose to accept. So for 100 days, starting tomorrow, Thursday, September 22nd, I will be forging new neural pathways for 5 new habits. My new habits is, number 1, I will be drinking 1 gallon of water a day. I chose this habit because I had a annual doctor's appointment about 2 weeks ago, and besides being healthy as an ox, my doctor said my pee was too yellow, and I ain't like that. So I got some clear pee for him. On top of that, I've been reading this great book that reminds myself that the human body is made up from 50 to 60% of water. The name of this book is The Hidden Message in Water. Is a New York Times bestseller, and one of the excerpts on the back says this is a revolutionary work of internationally renowned Japanese scientist Masaru Emoto, who has discovered that molecules of water are affected by our thoughts, words, and feelings. So I thought that was very interesting, and the book has some pretty cool pictures of how water is affected by vibrations, energy, sound, thoughts, and feelings. It's a very interesting book. Again, the name of it is The Hidden Message in Water. Check it out for yourself. My second habit is 100 push-ups a day. My third habit is 100 lunges a day. My fourth habit is 100 dips a day. And my fifth habit is 100 sit-ups a day. And you may be asking yourself, why didn't you create a habit of going to the gym or working out every day? Well, the reason why is I personally need to be very specific about goals and habits and things that I attempt to do that I'm writing down, because I will find a loophole or some type of way to get out of it. And I do that, or when I do that, it makes me feel less guilty about me diverting. So I wanted to be very descriptive and specific about the habits that I wanted to create for myself. The way I see it, by the time I complete my 100-day challenge, I would have drank about 800 pounds of water, and will be about 20 pounds heavier because I would have gained some muscle mass. So on top of that, it will also be December 31st because September 22nd, tomorrow, marks exactly 100 days left in the year 2016. Here's my calendar that I'll be happily marking X's on as I complete a day each time. So I'm prepared. I also, here is a contract that I wrote to myself and signed. If I complete this 100-day challenge, or when I complete this 100-day challenge, let me get that right, I can buy a new car. And if you watched any of my videos before, you already know I got my eye on the prize. You know what I mean? Got my eye on the prize, you know what I mean? So I will keep you guys updated on my progress. I'm relying on my willpower, and I'm relying on you guys and social media to keep me accountable. You guys will be my battle buddies. So that's what I have for you guys today. What habits are you working on developing or breaking? And any tips that you might have that have worked for you, share with us. If you have questions, comments, ideas for talks, or just want to say hi, comment below. You can also contact me at www.icommandit.com. Until we meet again, stay awake, stay learning, and understand and know. The secret is there is no secret. Only distractions keep us away from the things that we so desire. This is Eric Talks signing off. Peace. 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 Peace.